Bhagavate Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 8, prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved, text 32 onwards. Kechidahurajam jatam punyashlokasya kirtaye yadoh priyasya anvave malaseva chandanam. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malay hills. So now Queen Kunti is talking about the birth of Krishna, that why you are born, why you take birth, although he is unborn. Because the Lord's appearance in this material world is bewildering, there are different opinions about the birth of the unborn. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He takes this birth in the material world, although He is the Lord of all creation and He is unborn. So there cannot be any denial of the birth of the unborn because He Himself establishes the truth. But still there are different opinions as to why He takes His birth. That is also described in Bhagavad Gita. He appears by his own internal potency to re-establish the principles of religion and to protect the pious and to annihilate the impious. That is the mission of the appearance of the unborn. Still, it is said that the Lord is there to glorify the pious King Yudhishthira. Lord Shri Krishna certainly wanted to establish the kingdom of the Pandavas for the good of all in the world. When there is a pious king ruling over the world, the people are happy. When the ruler is impious, the people are unhappy. In the age of Kali, in most cases, the rulers are impious and therefore citizens are continuously unhappy. So, Prabhupada is talking about different reasons for Krishna taking birth, or actually, he doesn't take birth, like he said in Bhagavad Gita that he appears. Sambhavami yoga yoga. Sambhavami doesn't mean taking birth, it means appears. And he appears by his internal potency. But what is the reason for his appearance? That is, there are different reasons: to annihilate the miscreants, to protect the pious, and to glorify his devotees, to have pastimes with his devotees. So there are different reasons. And Queen Kunti, she is coming to one reason, that he also glorified King Yadu, because Krishna appeared in the family of Yadu dynasty. He appeared in the dynasty of Maharaj Yadu. So that's why he is known as Yadav or Yaduvir, Yadunandan, etc. So he wanted to glorify Maharaj Yadu because he is born in that dynasty. And Kunti gives the example of sandalwood that grows in the Malaya hills. Trees can grow anywhere and everywhere, yet because the sandalwood trees grow mostly in the area of the Malaya hills, the name sandalwood and the Malaya hills are interrelated, or it was interrelated. In the Malaya hills, only sandalwood trees were found, so they were interrelated. Similarly, Krishna appeared in the family, in the dynasty of Yadu Maharaj, so they are interrelated. But Prabhupada at other place in Bhagavatam, he wrote in the purport, nowadays this Malay Hills was Malaysia, which is now known as Malaysia. So over there it was abundance of sandalwood trees. There's so many sandalwood because the soil and the atmosphere and the climate is very suitable for the sandalwood. So in earlier days, sandalwood was grown over there, and it was basically sent all over the world. For people would buy that sandalwood at premium price. But nowadays, Malaysia, instead of growing sandalwood trees, they're growing rubber trees. And Prabhupada explains that because rubber sells more than the sandalwood all over the world, so they're growing rubber trees over there. And it's so, I mean, so bad because they can grow sandalwood, and that is really amazing sandalwood that grows over there. When it's mentioned in Bhagavatam, I mean, what else we need over here? Therefore, the conclusion is that the Lord is ever unborn, like the sun, and yet he appears as the sun rises on the eastern horizon. As the sun is never the sun of eastern horizon, so the Lord is also no one's son, but he is the father of everything that be. So the sun, the planet sun, appears in the eastern horizon at its own due course of time, but he is never born out of that eastern horizon. He just appears over there. Text 33. अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितो अभ्यगात् अजस्त्वमस्य क्षेमाय वधाय च सुरद्दिशाम्. Others say that since both Vasudev and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. So, demigods mean the devotees. It is also said that Vasudeva and Devaki, in the previous birth as Sutapa and Prishni, underwent a severe type of penance to get the Lord as their son. And as a result of such austerities, the Lord appeared as their son. It's also declared in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears for the welfare of all people of the world and to vanquish the Asuras. So that was another reason for Krishna to appear as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki, because in the previous verse, Sutapa and Prishni underwent severe penances, severe austerities. And the austerities they performed, and the Lord appeared, and they said, we want somebody like you as our son. So Krishna thought they cannot be anybody like me, so might as well I take the birth as a son. So he appeared as a son. भार अवताराण्यान्याने भुवो न विवो सीदन्त्या भूरि भारेण जातो हि आत्म भुवार्थितः. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. So many reasons, many things Krishna does. Like with one stroke, he does many things. So this is what's the beauty of Krishna's pastimes. So he appeared, okay, one to fulfill the desires of Sutapa and Prishni because they were doing penances. Two, to deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, to satisfy Lord Brahma also because he went and he prayed for Krishna to appear, to establish the kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthira, to have beautiful pastimes with his devotees, to glorify Maharaj Yadu. So that's why he appeared in the dynasty of Maharaj Yadu. So many reasons Krishna appears, although he is unborn. At the same time, he is unborn, but he appears. Brahma, or the first living being born just after the creation, is the direct son of Narayan. Narayan, as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, first of all entered the material universe. Without spiritual contact, matter cannot create. This principle was followed from the very beginning of the creation. The Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower grown out of the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Vishnu is therefore known as Padmanabh. Brahma is known as Atmabhu because he was begotten directly from the father without any contact of Mother Lakshmiji. Although Lakshmiji was present near Narayan, engaged in the service of the Lord, and yet without contact with Lakshmiji, Narayan begot Brahma. So that is the potency of Narayan. So Prabhupada further writes, so Brahma is therefore directly the son of the father and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore he is known as Atma Bhu. Bhu means from here he appears. Atma means from oneself. This Brahma is in charge of further creations in the universe, secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Shvetadvip, which is the abode of Kshirodaksha Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Whenever there is trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution, and if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consults and prays to the Kshirodaksha Vishnu for an incarnation and solution to the problems. So such problem arose when concerned others were ruling over the earth, and earth became too much overburdened by the misdeeds of the asuras. So they say, like Kunti is saying, the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji. So that's also one of the reasons. Text 35. Bhave asmin klishya mana nam avidya kam karma bhi shravan smaran arahani karishaniti kechana. And yet others say that you appeared for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. So others say Krishna appeared for this reason, so he could re-establish the process of devotion service, so conditioned souls can take advantage of those processes and then gain liberation, or get a chance to go back home, back to God. In Bhagavatam, Lord asserts that he appears in every millennium just to in Bhagavad Gita, Lord asserts that he appears in every millennium just to establish the way of religion. So he says, no, dharma sansthapanarthaya, to establish the ways of religion. The way of religion is made by the Supreme Lord. No one can manufacture a new path of religion, as is the fashion for certain ambitious persons. The factual way of religion is to accept the Lord as a supreme authority and thus render service unto him in spontaneous love. So that is the way of religion. Real religion is to accept the Lord as supreme authority and thus render service unto him in spontaneous love. So that is a real religion. So the duty of the living being is just to serve him only. Unfortunately, the illusion living beings, out of misunderstanding, become servant of the senses by material desire. This desire is called avidya or nescience. So because of avidya, he keeps on taking birth, he keeps on transmigrating into different bodies under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So Lord, however, out of his causeless mercy, because he is more merciful to the suffering living beings than they can expect, appears before them and renovates the principles of devotional service, comprising of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, cooperating, and surrendering unto him. Adoption of all the above mentioned items or any one of them can help a conditioned soul get out of the triangle of nescience and thus become liberated from all material sufferings created by the living being, illusioned by the external energy. So this is why Krishna appears. He establishes or re-establishes the principles of religion and gives the conditioned souls a chance to get out of here. It's just like if Prime Minister Modi goes to Tihar jail and he gives the blueprint of Tihar jail to all the inmates there in order for all of them to get out of there. He gives them a blueprint. He gives them the way how to get out. This is how you can get out. Just get out. But this is what Krishna does for all of us. Because he loves us so much. He doesn't like us to suffer over here. So he wants us to get out of here. But uh, we are so stubborn that we say, "Hum nahi sudhrenge." We don't want to get rectified. We are happy here. We want to remain here. So then what can Krishna do? Of course, Krishna does not interfere with the independence of the living entities. He does not. But the devotees are more merciful than him because devotees know the purpose of Krishna's appearance, especially specifically this purpose that Krishna wants all the conditioned souls to go back. So the devotees interfere with the independence of other living entities, those who are conditioned. This is a special right of a devotee. So that's why they bother with the emails, with the WhatsApp messages, get up, chant, attend the class, read, come to the class, do some service, give donation, and whatever, all this different activities. So the devotees do that. Krishna does not interfere with anybody's independence. But devotees like Radha Prabhu, they do that. Even in the office, they keep on preaching. Come on, in the office, you are there to work. But he keeps on preaching even in the office because he knows people will not be happy in stereo, working for stereo. They'll be more ecstatic if they work for Krishna. So the devotees, they don't give the independence. That's a special right of the devotees. And that's why devotees are very dear to the Lord because they want to engage more and more people in the service of the Lord. And why? Because in text 36 it's explained. Shanvanti gayanti grinanti abhikshanasha smaranti nandanti tave hitam jana. Taye pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava prabaho paramam padambujam. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So, this is the ultimate purpose to stop the repetition of birth and death. And how to do that? Those who continuously chant and hear and repeat your transcendental activities. Or even take pleasure in others doing so. Not they don't become envious of others doing so. They take pleasure. It means then they are eligible to come back to Godhead. The Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, cannot be seen by a present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing a different condition of life, full of spontaneous love of Godhead. When Shri Krishna was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as a supreme personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kansa, Jarasandh, Shishupal were highly qualified personalities, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it's not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. So once we engage in this process of Shravan, Smaran, and other processes of devotion service, then our senses, or in fact our whole body gets purified, starts getting spiritualized, and then we can perceive of Krishna everywhere. So that's what Prabhupada is further explaining. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes become automatically perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwarka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. So there is no difference in the transcendental nature of all the activities of the Lord. So that's why people like to just go to the topics of his dealing with the gopis, because this sex desire is in everybody's heart. It's very much there. That's why they like to directly go to those topics. And Prabhupada also used to say that his activities in the battlefield of Kurukshetra are as good as activities with his gopis. But the battlefield of Kurukshetra, especially the philosophy that he spoke about in Kurukshetra, it doesn't it doesn't attract many people. But at the same time, it is mentioned that if we are not qualified and we listen to Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, so we can fall down more, because we will develop those sexual desires more if we listen to those pastimes. So rather, we should listen to Bhagavad Gita, the philosophy that is Krishna gave for our benefit. It will have the same effect of purification if we want to purify ourselves. But because of our that inherent desire of enjoying sex life will come out more if we just listen to Krishna's pastime with the gopis without proper eligibility and without proper purification. We might fall down. It is possible. So we better listen to other pastimes of Krishna, because they all are absolute in nature. They will purify us no matter what. There is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people in an unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealing with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such hearings. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scriptures, and that will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. One should not, therefore, consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane attachments. In all the above mentioned dealings of the Lord, He is the hero in all circumstances, and hearing about Him or about His devotees or combatants is conducive to spiritual life. So it is all conducive. Hearing Bhagavad Gita is as good as hearing those dealings with gopis. And that's why if we see Shukdev Goswami, first he spoke 9 cantos, and then he went to the 10th canto where Krishna's pastimes are explained in much detail. And even in the 10th canto, I mean, he explained his dealings with the gopis in 29th chapter onwards, not before that. And before that, so many other pastimes are provided that so the people don't misunderstand his dealing with the gopis. So that is important. In fact, so much so, his dealings with the gopis are so confidential that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would never discuss Krishna's dealings with gopis with any of the other devotees except a few, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramanand Rai, and like that. He wouldn't discuss with others because he knew they can misinterpret those. So we have to be very careful when we are listening to the pastimes of Krishna. So, especially his pastimes of dealing with the gopis. His childhood pastimes, they're very sweet. Anybody can listen to those pastimes and discuss those pastimes, no problem at all. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any question or comments.
Hare Krishna Guruji. I have
Hare
a
Krishna.
question. I'm a bit confused as to the three forms of Vishnu that I know is Mahavishnu, Daksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu. So, what are the functions? Because the Shirodaksha Vishnu is, I mean, is lies in everybody's heart. But here it was something else, so I'm little confused. If you
Uh, See, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from he lies down in the Garbhodak ocean, and from his navel, this lotus flower comes out, and on top of lotus flower, Brahmaji appears, and this is all his function is. And also, at the time of partial annihilation that happens at every evening of Brahmaji, this lower creation, it rests in the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. I mean, lower creation means hellish planets, earthly planet, up to Svargloka, everything is destroyed. And Brahmaji and all other demigods, they also rest in the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And Kshirodaksha Vishnu, his role is to take care of this universe. When we say Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, so this Vishnu is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And like Prabhupada also mentioned, whenever demigods go to Brahmaji to get some solution to a bigger problem, and if Brahmaji cannot solve it, then they all go to Kshirodaksha Vishnu to pray to him, to take care of the situation. Also, this Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the one who expands himself as Paramatma in every living entity's heart and inside every atom. But when Krishna had to appear, 7th Manu, 28th Dwapar Yuga, Krishna himself, when he had to appear. So that time, Brahmaji, all the demigods, Mother Earth, who took the form of a cow, they went to Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And Kshirodaksha Vishnu was contemplating, this is not the time for me to come. So then they all actually, and then they heard this voice, which actually came from Golok Vrindavan, that I'm going to appear. In fact, there is a funny incident that happened at that time. It's mentioned in, I believe, in Garg Samhita, that Brahmaji, all the demigods, then they went to Golok Vrindavan. They crossed this universe. They went to Golok Vrindavan to pray to Krishna, please appear, because it's time for you to appear as yourself. So when they went to Golok Vrindavan, and now Golok Vrindavan is completely the property of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. So gopis are the guards of Golok Vrindavan. There's no like Jai Vijay who are guarding Vaikuntha. The gopis are there. So gopis are gopis. They're Brajvasis. You cannot mess with them. All the demigods, they went there in their wonderful ornaments and this and that. So gopis asked Brahmaji and others, where are you coming from? Who are you guys? Where are you coming from? So they got bewildered. Who are these? They look like these simple village girls, and they're asking us these kind of questions. Who are we? So hesitatingly, they pointed at this this universe. That is where we are coming from. And the gopis, they are sarcastic. So say so. Don't just stand there without saying. So say so. No, you're coming from that universe. Okay, so then the whole description they gave that Shvet Varaha Kalpa. If you remember, whenever we go to some pujari to some panda to do the puja, they say these things. Shvet Varaha Kalpe, Jambu Dvipe, Arya Vrate, so. They come out exactly. So then gopis also told them, okay, this is what you have to say, the Shvetvarha Kalpe, and then we are coming from this place, and that's how we recognize where you're coming from. Otherwise, how would we know? So they really chastised everybody. But the gopis are gopis, they can do that. That's not a problem. Uh, Sorry, I think I added some more to the answer than your question more into.
Prabhuji, that's perfectly fine. Gives us a more understanding. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. So I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Jai
Uh,
Srila Prabhupada.
one more question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, please go ahead, ask.
Question how exactly we get benefited from listening to the pastimes of Krishna?
Um, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his book Chaitanya Shikshamrita, he has explained that if we listened, when we listen to Krishna's killing different demons, the pastimes of Krishna killing different demons, then all these demons, they represent one or the other anartha, unwanted desire in our heart. So when we listen to those pastimes with full faith and sincerity, then those anarthas in our heart, they start getting killed, they start getting removed. So that is one of the benefit of listening to pastimes of Krishna. And other pastimes where he is not killing the demons, he's dealing with the devotees, they benefit us in the sense then we develop a desire to be with Krishna in those pastimes because those pastimes are so sweet and we want to be there, not here. So then slowly we develop a desire and the desire becomes intense desire by our performance of different processes of bhakti. And then we don't have a desire to stay here. And then Krishna fulfills that desire of by taking us back.
All right. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful answer. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.